Welcome back, guys. This is Lindsay with Garage Gym Reviews. Today we are going to talk about this treadmill behind me. This is one from Echelon. It is the 8S22. Now, I am just going to be upfront and honest. I have a lot of call outs to this. So if you want an absolute, honest, transparent review, stick around. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can see videos just like this one. If you want to go ahead and purchase this, we have a link below the like button. When you use that link, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does give us a small commission. And lastly, this was sent to us by the company, but this is an honest review. You will see that, and I am pretty transparent about the things I don't like about this treadmill. However, with that all being said, there are some quality things that I find really exciting, really interesting. Number one, I love the aesthetic of this. I mean, this reminds me so much of the Peloton Plus, okay? This is a really cool looking treadmill. And not only that, there are some LED lights underneath by the belt tread that change color. So as you're going at a slower pace, it's like to red. As you're going to a faster pace, it turns to green. Things like that really capture me because it just makes running on a machine so much more fun. It really reminds me of something like the Nordic Track S22i bike that has light up spinning wheels as you move faster. And again, just keeps you a little bit more engaged. So overall, I mean, the aesthetic of this, I really, really like it. And because of that, I want to like this treadmill more. But again, just some things I don't love. Okay, so let's talk about this screen first. It has a 22-inch touchscreen that does swivel a full 180 degrees around. So if you are using the Echelon programming and you want to use it off the treadmill, you can go ahead and take classes as you just swivel the screen around. My one call out to the screen, when I go ahead and set it up to the highest placement, right? So I'm like tilting it up and I start running, it automatically falls down. It does not stay in place. We have tightened the screws, we have tied the knots. We've done everything we can to make sure that this screen stays in place where you want it while you're running, and it just won't do that. And so for that, it's a huge miss for me, because if I'm walking at a high incline, which this does have, then I want the screen to be able to tilt up. I want to be able to follow along with the programming. I want to be able to see everything clearly, and it just doesn't do that. Now, this does have a 3.75 HP DC motor. DC in general is quieter than an AC motor. So this is an ultra quiet machine, and you can really tell the difference as you are transitioning to incline, as you are increasing your speed. It doesn't have that normal sort of like humdrum that a lot of treadmills that we see when they move to an incline have. This was really, really quiet. So overall, if you are looking for a quiet machine, this is truthfully one of the quietest ones that I've seen. In terms of the cost, this is a more expensive machine, okay? This is over $2,000. Now, right now it is on sale, but the normal price is around $2,299. Now, would I spend that much money on it? I don't know. There are some comparisons I want to make to other treadmills, but again, like for me, it might not be a good fit, but for somebody else who's looking again for a really quiet treadmill and looking for a solid motor size, this might be a good fit for you. When it comes to the portability of this machine, it is not foldable. For me, that's a miss. So even when I have my treadmill set up in my home gym, there are a lot of days where my kids will go play basketball outside. They'll be on the trampoline, they'll be on the swings, whatever they're doing. I like to drag my treadmill out, walk on it, run on it, so I can kind of keep an eye on them while also getting some extra steps in or getting a workout in. And I like the foldable design. I wouldn't want to be moving this in and out. Even though it's right around 200 pounds, I just wouldn't want to be moving this in and out of my garage when it's not a foldable design. Now, this does come with incline, like I have said, but it doesn't come with any sort of decline option. For me, that is a huge miss. When I'm comparing this to the Soul F85, that's around the same price point and has a 6 levels of decline, or the Proform Pro 9000 that has -3% decline, the fact that this doesn't have any decline, but also is around that same cost point, for me, again, just a huge miss. In terms of the incline, though, it does go up to 12%. Now, that is pretty standard. We do see some treadmills that might go to like 15% or higher. Like if we're looking at something like the Nordic Track X22i, 3% incline. I mean, it's just massive. But remember, the more your treadmill has the ability to incline higher, it's probably going to raise the price quite a bit. One thing to say about this is that it does have a very minimal assembly. All you really need to do is attach the arms and the screen, Adeline here went ahead and assembled it. She said it was like easy peasy. I mean, she was able to assemble it within like 40 minutes by herself. So overall, if you are looking for something that, again, is easily assembled as a product, I do think this would be a good one. In terms of like features, okay, it has a wireless charging pad. I love that fact, and it's very conveniently placed. You can go ahead and set your phone on that, have a wireless charger as you are going ahead and using the machine. It also has 2 cup holders and then storage boxes that you can put your like keys or your wallet or whatever you need to. And then in terms of the fan, I thought I was going to like this because it's right at the center. So I thought, man, like right at the center, right at where my face is. But it was just so minimal. Like I felt like it barely blew out any air. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of a child who turned 1 trying to blow out a birthday candle for the first time. Like it was nothing. Okay, so now here's something that I still feel like I have mixed opinions of, okay? So it has a trackball design, which is really fun to use, but not super intuitive and also takes a little bit of getting used to. Like, I actually really didn't like it at first, and now that I've used the treadmill probably about 4 or 5 times, I've kind of gotten the hang of it, but initially I literally hated it. So on the adjustment system, it does change from blue to green depending on what function you want to use. So on the left-hand side, if you use blue, it's going to change your incline. If you use green, it's going to change your volume. On the right-hand side, if you use the blue side, it's going to go ahead and change your miles per hour by tenths. If you use the green, it's going to go ahead and do more of like a quick jump, so you have like 1, 2, 3 miles per hour. Overall, it wasn't the easiest thing to get to use. The other thing that I really don't like about this that is kind of interesting, so when I used the trackball design, the incline responded like so fast. I mean, so fast, so quiet, so smooth. And then when I went ahead and tried to change the speed on the trackball design, it took a while to catch. I am not the only one. I watched a lot of other reviews on this treadmill. We all agree that I almost felt like it wasn't going to work. I moved it, I touched it, I moved the ball, and then I just waited and waited and waited until literally all of a sudden it was here I am. There was no sort of build up where you could realize that it was getting going. It just you wait, and then it goes really fast. I didn't love that. In terms of the size, this is a 5 feet 6 inches by 2 feet 8 inches by 5 feet 3 inches. Now that's a pretty standard treadmill size. The only weird thing, and this is just how my brain works, was this was the only website I've ever seen in my years and years and years. Okay, my 1 year of reading about treadmills that has it listed in feet and not inches. But overall, I mean, this is a pretty standard size. The weight capacity on this is 300 pounds. Now that does meet industry standard. But again, if we're comparing this to the Soul F85, the Soul F85 does have a higher weight capacity at 375 pounds. If you do want to purchase this, if you don't want to go ahead and just pay all up front, you can go ahead, go through the checkout process, and there is financial aid available that you can go ahead and apply for. There are a couple last things I want to touch on. One being the programming on Echelon. This was kind of a miss for me, although I do like it better than Soul's programming, and Echelon does continue to add classes almost daily to their programming. My biggest call out to this was the fact that there was no way to mix the volume of the instructor and the music. And depending on what class you took, sometimes I could hear the music really well, but I was really trying to strain my ear to hear the instructor. While other classes, I would overwhelmingly hear the instructor, but I could barely hear the music. So it just didn't seem like it was mixed well, and it wasn't very consistent because each class seemed to be different. Now there were that were mixed really well, and they were really great, but they were few and far between. With this programming, it is $300 a year, which is on the cheaper side. I mean, it's cheaper than iFit, it's cheaper than Peloton, but still a little bit more expensive than what we see with Soul or some other programmings available out there. Now, the last thing I want to say about this is the display. So there is almost a banner of your metrics at the bottom of your screen. But for me, if I'm running full force and I want to quickly glance down at the screen to see how fast I'm going, what my incline is set at, then it was almost hard to see because the numbers were in white and sometimes the background wasn't white. So overall, I just didn't totally love. Also, when you go ahead and purchase the programming, it will actually add an extended warranty onto your machine, which I haven't seen a lot of companies do before, and truthfully, I think is really smart. Here are my final thoughts about this. It is easier to move. It does look really cool. And I do like the intention of the like dual purpose knobs. For me, the programming is kind of mid. It's definitely not the best. And I don't know if I would personally want to spend $300 a year on it. Although I do like the fact that it adds an extended warranty to your treadmill when you purchase the programming. The other thing I don't love about it is the fact that the screen continues to fall every time I jump on it. Anytime I try and keep it up higher, falls. I just don't like that fact. And then last thing I want to touch on is the deck is not the most cushioned deck. It reminds me so much of the Peloton Tread Plus. So just not super bouncy, not super cushioned. If you like a cushioned deck, I wouldn't go with this, but like not everybody does. Some people like a more firm landing surface, and that's totally okay. But just know going into this that again, it is firmer and definitely not the most cushioned deck I've seen. But overall, I'd love to know your thoughts below. This has been Lindsay with Garage Gym Reviews. Peace.